And just too close to call, exit polls indicate a neck-and-neck race in South Korea's presidential election. Well, exit polls are predicting a dead heat between the two leading candidates in South Korea's presidential election. Polls showing there's virtually nothing separating Lee Jae-myung of the ruling Democratic Party and Suk-yeol from the conservative main opposition People's Party. Suk joins us live from Seoul. Suk, tell us first about the turnout. How has that been despite record high daily COVID cases?
Well, the latest report shows that the turnout today was about 77%, and so that is quite high. And so I don't think that the high number of COVID-19 cases really stopped South Koreans from going to the polls today. Now, it is a public holiday here, and so despite the record number of COVID-19 cases, I saw how the streets of Seoul were filled with people, sort of like just enjoying themselves. Now, right now, I'm here at one of the vote counting centers in the South Korean capital. There are about 251 of them across the country. And as you can see over there, they are busy counting those crucial votes. Early this morning, I was also at another polling station just to watch to see how South Koreans were voting. And it seems like a lot of people came out to cast their crucial votes.
From very early morning, residents started strolling in at this polling station in Pyeongchang-dong, a posh residential area in the South Korean capital, Seoul. It's one of more than 14,000 polling stations that have been set up across the country. This is the second major election in South Korea since the COVID-19 pandemic. Voters must go through COVID-19 safe management measures before they cast their votes. South Korea has been battling a surge in COVID-19 cases in recent weeks. There were nearly 350,000 cases on Wednesday alone. But the pandemic has not deterred South Koreans from coming out to vote. High voter turnouts have been reported across the country.
잘 살기 위한 것, 그리고 정의로운 것, 바른 것, 좀 바른 나라가 될 수 있는 그런 중점으로 했어요. 너무 비리들이 많아서.
한국은 분단 국가이기 때문에 아무래도 외교적인 문제가 국내 이슈에도 더 큰 작용을 해서 그러니까 외교 능력이 어느 분이 더 잘 될 것인가.
With people in their 20s and 30s making up about a third of the vote, young voters have been a focus in this election.
지금 정부에 조금 불만을 갖고 있는 사람이 많다고 저는 개인적으로 생각을 해서 그 부분에 대해서 이제 앞으로의 5년을 준비하는 게 중요하다 보니까 관심이 더 많지 않나 생각을 합니다.
For the first time, 18-year-olds are allowed to vote after the country lowered the minimum voting age to 18 from 19. According to the National Election Commission, voters between 18 and 19 years old make up about 2% of the total electorate of 44 million. Authorities also allowed those under quarantine or infected with COVID-19 to cast their votes after voting ended for regular voters. 1.5 hours were set aside for this group of voters.
And Yoon, so what are the main issues at stake in the election?
Well, lots at stake, so whoever wins this election will have several issues to tackle. On the domestic front, you're seeing issues like the skyrocketing housing prices here, as those prices have nearly doubled in recent years. You also have rising youth unemployment and the rising household debt, as South Koreans have been borrowing more than ever before. Now, in the foreign policy, there are those threats from North Korea and its nuclear weapons program. And so whoever replaces President Moon Jae-in will be inheriting that standoff that could further worsen ties between South and North Korea. And also, we see that North Korea is continuing to develop its nuclear weapons program. And so, whoever becomes the president will have to deal with that. So lots at stake. But, whichever policy South Korea will be coming up with to tackle those issues will really depend on who becomes the next president of South Korea.
Suk reporting from Seoul. Thank you.